5 days and 4 nights. This is our trip to Houston, Texas. Our flight was scheduled to depart at 7, so we arrived at the airport 3 hours prior as we were flying with a team. Unfortunately, our flight was delayed by an hour. After 4 hours, we arrived in Houston, Texas. We then booked a 14-seat shuttle to take us to our hotel. We will be sleeping here for the next 4 days, located in the Heights neighborhood of Houston, Texas. This hotel features a modern design with stylish interiors and amenities that cater to both leisure and business travelers. The hotel includes 4 types of guest rooms, a lounge, a bar, and a pool. We then headed to George R. Brown Convention Center. You may be wondering why the convention center looks like this. To answer that question, we have to go back to September of 2022. When the first Tech Challenge season kicked off, FGC is a global robotics competition where teams from over 32 countries compete to build and program the best robots for the season's game. We placed second in our regional tournament, which qualified us for the provincial championships. We then took this a step further to provincials, where we were crowned the champions, placing us among the top 4 teams in all of Canada. Now we're in Houston competing in the first Robotics World Championships. After we set up our pits, we then explored the convention center and headed back, making some stops along the way. We rode the streetcar back from Main Street all the way to Cavalcade. It only took us $1.05 for the metro, which is pretty cheap as it takes you all across the city. We woke up at 5:45, leaving us enough time to get the complimentary continental breakfast at the hotel and make it to the convention center in time for inspection and our first matches. At about 8, we were at the convention center and we were all prepared for judging, when we realized we had some of our robot stuff back at the hotel. And the worst part was we had our judging session at 11. So we hightailed it back to the hotel, grabbed our things, and gassed it right back to the center, just in time for our judging. By the time we were finished, we were all hungry, so we grabbed lunch at a restaurant 8 minutes away. We split up, and some of us grabbed Chick-fil-A, but we decided to grab some Texas barbecue at Otto's. We grabbed a meal that let us pick 2 meats, and we got brisket and sausage for about $10. And overall, we were rated a 9 out of 10. The food was really filling, tasty, and convenient to get to. But when we got back, we had some time to meet some other teams and check out their cool pits. But then this happened. Everyone had to evacuate, and when we got outside, there was a sea of over 100,000 people from all over the world. Someone pulled the fire alarm, setting our whole schedule back by another half an hour. Bro, what? Where's the pool? Wait, oh yeah, it's still there. Yeah. Wait, no, didn't we pass it? Yeah. Wait, no. However, we did have our first qualification matches shortly after. We got a personal best and placed first in our division for the first day of matches. And just like that, it was time for dinner. We headed over to Frank's Pizza. The pizza was absolutely delicious and massive that we needed 3 people to finish it. Overall, we would rate it 9 out of 10. We started the day a little earlier, and like day 2, we started with breakfast. We arrived at the center around 7:30 and prepared everything and got ready for our matches. After passing inspection, we checked out some of the other team's pits and met some very cool people. And before we knew it, it was time for lunch, so we went to Zydeco Diner. This authentic Louisiana-style diner was unlike any restaurant we've been at. We ordered the chicken fricassee. Overall, we would rate this meal a 6 out of 10. Not the best meal, but the restaurant had a different rustic feel, which made the vibe immaculate. Going into the afternoon, there were more matches, and we finished at around 3 o'clock, so we decided to spend the rest of the afternoon at Discovery Green. At around 5, we decided to head out, back to the hotel in order to get ready for dinner. It was a special dinner because one of our teammates was celebrating their 18th birthday, so we went to Pinkerton's. This barbecue place was honestly the best restaurant in the whole trip. The price is quite fair for the quantity and the taste. We got 1 pound of each meat in the menu and split it among 6 people.
Our favorite was the prime brisket and the barbecue sausages. However, the pulled pork ribs were also delicious. The meat was so tender it fell right off the bone, and we paid around $190 and split it among 6 people. The rest of the night, we enjoyed to ourselves at the hotel and slept at around 12 o'clock. Today was the last day of qualification matches. As usual, we woke up early and headed to the convention center, hoping to finish off strong. After our final set of games, we ate lunch at Potbelly's. We ordered 2 Rex, which looks like this. It was extremely filling, and we would rate this meal an 8 out of 10. After lunch, we headed right back to the convention center for the draft/align selection for the playoff matches. Unfortunately, we didn't get selected. However, that opened up the next day to relax, as all of us were extremely exhausted. For dinner, we went to Distillery Market, which was a fine dining establishment. We decided to taste the finer side of Texas cuisine.
Today was a pretty slow day. We woke up and after breakfast we headed over to the convention center at around 8:30, just in time for the finals. After watching the finals, we headed down to the underground hall to grab some lunch. Unfortunately, this place only accepted credit cards, so we went down to a familiar restaurant just down the block. After lunch, we attended the closing ceremony back at the convention center. We then packed up our pits and went back to our hotel. And just like that, we're heading back home to Toronto. Thank you so much for joining us on our trip to Houston, Texas. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.